Welcome back. For those who don't know, Every Time He Dies is now available for purchase. All the links are below. You can also read the first 3 chapters on my website, taraeast.com. In this week's video, I'd like to talk about the idea of developing a writing mantra. Now, just to paint a bit of a picture, it was about 1 p.m. in the afternoon and I was watching the cursor on my Word document blink and blink. I'd probably spent about 3 hours writing. Actually, that's being a bit generous. In truth, if you compounded all of my writing time, it was probably like an hour and a half, but the rest of the time was made up with quickly checking and replying to emails, hanging out the laundry, patting the dog, making lunch, refilling my water bottle, and staring out the window. Yep, you guessed it. I'm working on a first draft. Now, it's been about 3 weeks since Every Time He Dies was officially released. And as you well know, it took me 7 years to write that novel. The last few years of writing Every Time He Dies was so joyful because I was very confident with the story and with the characters. I knew what I was doing, as much as you can. The thing about starting a new project after spending so much time on another project is that I've kind of forgotten what it's like to begin a new novel. The new novel I started writing earlier this year is about 3 female protagonists who have these animal companions. The book has elements of cli-fi, science fiction, horror, and magical realism, and it's delivered with a literary voice. When you compare it to Every Time He Dies, it couldn't be more different, at least in premise. Don't worry, it is still written by me, so it reeks of mysticism, time manipulation, and otherworldliness. But can I just say how weird it is to be working on a project that I'm so unfamiliar with? Right now, I'm 10 months into the drafting process, and I'm still kind of drifting. At the start of this year, I wrote a 60,000 word draft that was really just a brain dump of ideas. And now I'm heavily revising that document to the point where it feels like a totally new story. To say that I'm revising my brain dump even feels a bit disingenuous, considering how much I am changing the story. I hope you're getting a sense here of how incredibly messy the writing process can be. I've produced outlines and character profiles alongside that initial brain dump, and while those things were really useful to get the story rolling, those elements and those practices only took me so far. The thing is, writing is actually a physical act as well as a mental one. You can think your way through your story to a certain point, but there comes a point where you're only going to know if something's going to work once you sit down to write it. As a result, there comes a point where you have to put one foot in front of another, or one letter after another, and that is how you make your way through the dark. Slowly. Very slowly. If you follow me on Instagram, you're probably thinking, wait, don't you write like 2,000 words a day? Yeah, for the most part, I do write 2,000 words every time I have a writing session. This is because I follow Natalie Goldberg's rules for writing, and one of which is keep your hand moving. What the heck does that mean? Basically, during the drafting phase, I try to not think too much about what I am writing. Instead, I let the story lead the way. And yet, there is some cognitive action going on behind the scenes. Lately, my writing mantra has been, make it weirder. It's actually amazing how effective these 3 little words have been to my writing practice. I can be working on a scene and thinking, God, this is boring. I'm just moving the characters around. I'm just basically describing their day. Then I pause and think, okay, so this scene stinks. Big deal. What can I do to fix it? How can I make it more interesting? How can I make it weirder? I skip ahead to the next page and I let loose. Now, this approach has resulted in some damn fine writing. And some pretty weird stuff. Basically, the message of this video is if you're currently in the throes of writing a first draft, or if you're revising a manuscript and thinking that it's kind of boring, I invite you to come up with a mantra that would work for you and that manuscript. Now, you may be surprised by just how effective this little mind game can be. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe to support my channel. Every Time He Dies is officially available everywhere online. Just head to your favorite online retailer. You can also read the first 3 chapters for free at my website, taraeast.com. While you're there, be sure to join my email list. That way, you will get an email straight to your inbox every Thursday morning as soon as I publish my weekly blog and video. You'll also gain access to my free downloadable cheat sheet, The 7 Ways to Stay Motivated as a Writer. Know that you can also follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Thank you so much for watching again, guys, and I'll see you again next week.